What's happening, everybody? Glad to be here. I will get it. Let's get it. Let me start off with some updates as I did last week. So last week I kind of told you guys all about this Master Ventures fund, Polkadot fund that we're building, and that's coming along quite well. I posted the link for the interest form in the Master Ventures community chat, and the responses have been overwhelming. I think we're in just less than a week already, or I guess it's been about a week, $7 million in requests for the fund. So that's really exciting. And why is that? Why is that relevant to you guys? Well, one, you potentially, depending on where you live, might have access to for the first time to invest alongside with us into a lot of the best projects in the world that are coming out, and also a little bit of a little bit more development into the Polkadot fund. So even though it is a Polkadot ecosystem fund, we are still going to allocate between 10 and 15% of that fund to non-Polkadot ecosystem opportunities, as well, as we do see a lot of developments happening in BSC, in Solana, maybe Cardano. We'll have to see. But so it does give us the flexibility to do that. And how does that directly relate to paid? Well, it's great because paid is being built on Polkadot, and that's one of the questions that we'll get into in a minute, is the development of the substrate for paid and Polkadot. But basically, the Polkadot ecosystem and Kusama is quite it's quite a close network. And in order for you to be able to get access to a parachain, you have to have a huge network effect. So us taking a very dominant position in the Polkadot ecosystem makes us a key player, for Polkadot development. And, since we will be holding a significant amount of DOT and KSM, we will be able to also contribute quite a bit to paid's Polkadot or Kusama parachains. So that makes us quite excited. And I think that's really, really exciting news. We have some really great people helping us to execute this. And we are maybe 10 days away from actually being able to accept funds and get this thing going. And it would have been great, if we had it ready to go like the last couple of days, as we had a huge dip in the market, and we're still doing that. But we do plan on acquiring a significant amount of DOT and Kusama. Speaking of the dip, did you guys see my YouTube video I posted yesterday? It was on this channel. If you guys look back at the history, 6 months ago, I tried to start doing regular content, and that became more and more difficult as things got busier and busier for me. And for me to sit down and to create a YouTube video that was well thought out and informative, and I thought was of quality, that would literally take me like a whole day almost, from the research, the filming, the editing, the uploading, the making the YouTube thumbnail, the descriptions, the tags, the blah blah. It's really hard to do that when you're running something like Paid and Master Ventures and House of DAO. So I'm very fortunate. Actually, let me just give you a little sneak peek over here. This is Adam Mike. So he is our new producer. And if you saw the video yesterday that we put out, it's quite different from all the other ones. Much more professional editing, and I think more entertaining to watch as well. Very quick paced, and a lot of great positive comments on that. And so that's I'm really excited about that, because it's amazing. Like literally, I was just busy, and then I just got up, walked upstairs to our studio that we set up, and it took about 10 minutes to familiarize myself with what we were going to talk about, and then just knocked it out real quick. It was done in like 25 minutes. I walked away and got back to work. And if I can continue to do this on a regular basis, which we will, that means we'll have a lot more content for everybody. And that's good for you guys, in my opinion, because you know, I am constantly plugged in, and I've been in the space for about 10 years. And I feel like I have a very good idea of what's going on, and I want to share all of that with you and be able to continue to deliver quality content to everybody. And of course, you know, being having a very prominent channel and social media following also goes a long way when being able to market your product. You know, you all know that marketing is super important. And when we have news and updates to deliver to people, you know, and they're exciting, we want a lot of people to hear about that, so everybody starts to know about how much we're doing here at Paid. And so I think, you know, and that goes for everything that we're doing. So I think that, you know, having this really big social media following is going to be important. And you know, Mike has a lot of experience at growing people's social media channels, you know, growth hacking, YouTube algorithms, hashtags, you know, things like that. And I'm really excited about being able to do this. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and we're finally doing it. Mike had to fly here from Canada and sit in quarantine for 10 days to be here with us. So we're really happy to have him here. And yeah, and we can move on. So one more thing I'll tell you about before we start diving into questions. We are getting a tremendous amount of inbound requests for projects to launch on Ignition. A lot, and it's actually overwhelming, and it's a shame because a lot of these projects are great, and we just don't have the capacity to launch them on Ignition. And keep in mind, by the way, just so you know, we are saying no to like 85% of the projects that approach us, because I just don't think that they are of the quality that I want to present to you guys. But there still are plenty that I do like that we still don't have the capacity to launch on Ignition. So we've also had enough experience now launching projects on Ignition to understand what makes a very successful launch. If you look at things like Paid or AOs or Split, these are huge launches, right? And we kind of know exactly what we did with those and the requirements that were involved, right? Things like taking their time to do proper marketing, taking their time to put out proper content so that the public and retail market understands what the product is that they're delivering. And so we basically built in quite high requirements for projects to be launching on Ignition, you know, starting like, you know, 3rd, 4th week of May. And as you know, there's a bunch of other launch pads launching. But again, something that I believe is special about Paid's Ignition is our ability for due diligence and vetting projects to deliver them to you. You know, we have so many years of experience doing this and a very successful track record. So I can't tell you exactly what we're doing, but Polkadot is a tier. Polkadot is the creme de la creme. Polkadot is the bug-free, tested, tried, true, you know, kind of super high quality ecosystem where everything's been worked out and you got it down to a science. What is Kusama? Kusama is the wild cousin of Polkadot. It's the no promises, no guarantees. Get what you get, and it's still going to kick ass because it's basically a fork of Polkadot, but it's not Polkadot, right? It's just kind of put out there for experimentation, and whatever goes. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot, and it might come in handy when it comes down to our capacity to facilitate more IDOs. So that's all that's the sneak peek I can tell you without officially announcing anything. Let's see if you guys are able to put 2 and 2 together. This will definitely benefit the Paid token holders and ecosystem. Some questions that have been asked. One is, how's the development of the Paid DApp? Great. I mean, it's a great question. And to be completely honest, there hasn't been a lot of development, not because we don't plan on doing it, but because right now, Ignition takes a lot of time from our developers, our technical team, and really our administrative team to run these lotteries and actually like deploy these smart contracts and do this whitelisting and blah, blah, blah. It's just inefficient, right? It's inefficient. So it makes a lot more sense for us because it doesn't take a lot of work to make this very, very efficient to where, you know, right now an IDO takes us, you know, I don't know, days from the administrative team, days from the marketing team, days from the dev team to get each one of these things done. Instead, you know, we can eliminate all these people that are involved and just have it be a couple people that are involved, and it's and everything's autonomous. And we're just a couple of weeks away from having that finalized. And so this is what we have been completely focused on right now, is automating everything. And once that's done, we can get back, you know, then everything runs on its own. Developers don't need to be involved whatsoever. Our team who's currently working on manually doing these crazy Excel sheets for the lottery, they won't have to do all this manual work either. It'll all be on algorithms. So, and in a nice user-friendly dashboard. Another question that people had is, when would KYC be built into Ignition? It is almost here. So everything, like a lot of, I don't know about everything, but like most things that people are wondering about, like the upgradability and the automation, the staking, things like that for Ignition, we are thinking like 2 to 3 weeks before it's all kind of finalized, completed. And then 3 or 4 weeks from now, all the audits will have been done on everything because security is paramount. So that's kind of the, let's see what else. For Bsc integration, we're already, you know, native on Bsc for like the paid DApp. And we have built the BEP20 ERC20 bridge. What we have to do still is we still have to build out the same contracts that do the token swap on Ignition. We have to rebuild those for Bsc native, and really because Bsc is really just a fork or an EVM of Ethereum, it should be fairly simple. But we do have these other priorities right now, and so I think that we will be able to have like Bsc native again in like 2 or 3 weeks. Also, a little bit more on the on the BEP20 Bsc thing. I think I talked about. I think in last week's AMA, I talked a little bit about our Pokedex partnership. And for anyone who didn't see it last week, like it's really, really, really cool. Basically, Pokedex is building us something where a project can come to Ignition, they can mint their tokens on Ignition in a standardized, audited smart contract where they don't have to then go do audits on their contracts. And so it's very efficient for them, and they can come and they can say, all right, well, you know, we know that Ethereum is slow and expensive, but we want to be in Ethereum because that's where everything exists right now for DeFi and for all the tools and things like that. So we definitely want ERC20 tokens. So let's mint 40% ERC20 tokens. But we also know that something like Pokedex, you know, running in Rust and running in like a Polkadot environment, you can do your DEX trading there for very, very little to no fees and very, very quickly. Totally changes the game when it comes down to a DEX. Something more like PancakeSwap. And speaking of PancakeSwap, a project launching at Ignition that did their 60-40 or whatever ratio mint of ERC20 and Rust, which is the language on in Polkadot tokens. They can also then take their tokens that are minted in ERC20, run it through our bridge, and now they have BEP20 tokens and can go run them on PancakeSwap. So very, very soon, I'm not sure when the Pokedex integration will be done, but I guess probably within about a month or so, and a project can come to Ignition, mint their tokens, do their IDO, and then be trading on Uniswap, Pokedex, and PancakeSwap all right away. Pretty cool. I actually don't know anyone else doing anything like that, so that's quite exciting. Okay, let's get into your questions. Hello, Kyle. Can you make an update about Moonswap? Do you have some info about releases of the coin? it's already been released. I talked about that on Crypto Banter, and also Mike over here is making me do a TikTok. so, so, um, nice. Yeah. So he's making me do a TikTok, and I did one earlier, and I talked about Moonswap. So go check it out over on my TikTok channel, whatever that gets up. And I guess I also just crossed 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So getting there, we just that's good news. Okay, that's that. Let's see. Kyle, what do you think of Walt Finance? I have no idea about Walt. Great work, Kyle, on the amount of videos you're pulling out and level of information. Doesn't go unnoticed. Keep it up, mate. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, brother. Anastasia, a good question. When the pool for 500 super, 500 paid will be active, boss? I don't know. Just I had a call with Elliot from Super Farm the other day, and we were talking about the Globe, because Globe is going to be the first super paid IDO launch, and I don't remember if we're doing this pool of that requires paid and super paid, or if it requires super paid, or if we're just doing the one pool for strictly for the super community and one for the paid community. I don't remember. And ultimately, Elliot said that he's just like a week or two away from their launch pad from Superstarter, as he calls it, being ready to go. So in the future, we will not be offering like Super Farm community pools on Ignition. We will just be doing them independently on our own platforms, and that's just easier for both of us. But we will be, of course, promoting the projects and the ideas with both of our communities, which will be extremely powerful. I could sleep well after the video. That's good. That's good to hear. I did too. Hi, Kyle. Love what you're doing, and I'm an avid follower. Which other funds are going after parachain slots, and how are you going to make sure that paid will get one? So that's questions. Yeah. First of all, Harvey, thank you. I don't know. I really haven't. I don't know if any of the funds are doing the same idea that we are. I know that there's a couple funds out there that are dedicated to Polkadot ecosystem. Binance has a fund, Huobi has a fund, LD Capital has a fund, Hypersphere has a fund. But as far as I'm concerned, their mandate isn't as ours is, where we are specifically allocating a large amount of the resources toward the parachain slots. And I did this because I think it's a quite unique way to be, one, bear market resistant, because the economics behind Polkadot and Kusama make it really, 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 really bear market resistant, mostly because all of these DOT that are required for parachains will need to be locked up for a long period of time. And it will make it very difficult for people to try to sell. So I think that, our long-term position on DOT Kusama is very, 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 very bullish. And I'm actually, there's been some delays in both the Polkadot and Kusama parachains launches, which is actually great for us because it's given us some time to get things together before the parachain auctions actually start happening. Because when they do, we will see both KSM and DOT skyrocket, in my opinion. And what makes me so sure that paid will get one? Well, that's like, that's basically just like asking a really confident entrepreneur what makes them so sure their business will succeed. And all that person can tell you is that, I believe that we will. And, we're not going to go get a parachain slot if we don't deserve to have one. Basically my philosophy on why we're going to go get a parachain slot is because it makes economic sense for us to do it. What does that mean? That means that our paid DApp, which is this cross-border business, utility that we're building, will be something that the whole world ends up using. And we are doing, millions of transactions a day in the paid ecosystem. And therefore, it would be very inefficient for us to have to pay these, or for our users to have to pay gas fees So instead, if you have a parachain, you don't need to pay gas fees at all, right? Or if we build it into our economics, very, very, very little, very, very small fees that would be paid, not in ETH, not in DOT, but you would only have to hold one token, which would be paid. And maybe transaction fees for every transaction are like a penny or something, or a half of a penny or something. So, so basically, what makes me so sure? Well, I just think that what we're building is really novel and really important. I believe that it has a real world use case that people actually want to use. And we're going to build it in a way that is user friendly and that people can actually use it. That's the best answer I can give you. Hey, Ali, Rab, Ali. That's a cool avatar pic, man. That's awesome. Crypto Banter tomorrow. I believe that I'll be on Crypto Banter tomorrow. I think so. I was told that last week I couldn't be on it because there was a bunch of women coming on, which is great. I was also super busy last week, so I was kind of relieved that I didn't have to do it. Not that I didn't have to do it. I got a break from it, but I'm hoping to come back tomorrow because I got some bombs to drop, and I'm sure Rand wants to hear about those. He just misses me. He can't stay for 2 weeks. Come on. So we'll be seeing Rand tomorrow. What do I think about Pirate Chain? I have no idea. Samuel, I have no idea. Man, I'll tell you what, it's a lot, to do what I do every day is like, I focus on our ecosystem projects, so what does that mean, our ecosystem? So it's basically all day long, I get pitched deals, and those are the ones that I find out about. And the ones that we're not working with, I don't really know too much about. I don't have time to go there on the secondary market or research other projects that we're not directly involved with. This is the best way, I believe, for us to be successful, is we take a very hands-on approach to investing. So, we get pitched a project. I like what they're doing. We vet the team. We make an investment into them. We help them after that. We don't just invest in something and then throw them up on Ignition. No. We're way more involved and actively involved in the success and the go-to-market of these projects. We have a whole army of KOLs that will also help us spread the word about great projects. So really, I only kind of know about really what we're working on, and it's a lot to even. I mean, it's even a lot. Imagine we have 5 IDOs lined up for next week. We have 4, potentially 5, if we work with ISPO Link, which I know is going on DAO Maker, and we're just discussing them. So if we do, and if my team doesn't kill me, and we can bring them on the 6th, which right now that would be 5 the first week of April, and then we have 4 scheduled for every single week in May. So 5 for the first week of May, 4 for every single week after that, and then coming into June, Kusama for IDOs on Ignition paid will just be more. So I guess I'm on calls, with usually 6 projects on average a day or something. The rest are like advisor calls and trying to get some food in once in a while, and went for a walk with my girl and my dog earlier, and that was nice. Oh yeah, it was Rupert's birthday over the weekend too. Check it out. It's like I got him. He already had one before, but it was like quite rusty because he goes swimming and everything like that. But this is Rupert's birthday present. The lights are really bright, but oh yeah, check it out. It's right, straight from China, baby. Right out of an ASIC miner. All right, let's see what else. Hey, Mukesh. Okay, so I'm a holder of paid since the start. I didn't win one IDO. I did some calculations of some wallets that get selected every time in Moon. Yeah, man, it's there's a lot that I want. So, you know, obviously, the more paid tokens that you have, the higher chances you get of, you know, winning IDOs. Another question that was asked that you just reminded me of is transparency into the lottery process. Just so you know, we have this partnership with Chainlink, and we are integrating VRF, which is short for verifiable random function, which is, I guess, a decentralized lingo for like random number generator. So, which not, but it's really like, it's basically a way on chain to prove that your data selection was randomized. And so we are integrating this into the whole automation process I told you about. So we will have full transparency into the selection process of the lottery very, very soon. There is quite some technical and dev integration that takes some time, and that's why we don't have it yet, but it is coming. And Mukesh, I will just tell you that please don't get discouraged. This kind of all this like hinting I am making toward this Kusama ignition platform will make you very, very happy. It will resolve this issue for those of you who have been, you know, loyal paid holders and haven't been fortunate enough to get into an IDO yet. And also, Mukesh, one more thing as well too. On the, I believe the 30th, make sure that you whitelist for Globe, because we're doing, I think it's a $2 million IDO for Globe on the 30th. And pretty much almost everybody should get into that IDO. So, and then we're doing another quite large one for Blockbank as well, I guess also next week. So these larger ones, you know, definitely will be able to get you into. Rand's got a show right now? Okay. Yeah. I get you. I feel you. It must be difficult, but you know, to kill two birds with one stone. Great video the other day, Kyle. Just breathe next time. Yeah, so I guess maybe I'll slow down a little bit next time. But you know, a lot of people watch YouTube videos on like 1.5x. So, you know, if I speak a little fast, at least like you get a lot of good information quite quickly. But I do understand also probably a lot of you aren't native English speakers, and maybe I should slow down when talking. Maybe not. Moving along. Okay. Ali, thanks, brother. Thanks for staying positive, man. You'll get yours, I promise. Musa, when is the next token release? I'd like to add more bags. Then it's good thinking. You know, good thinking that, you know, the whole market is on sale right now, and yeah, I think I don't know the exact date. I think the next private sale release is, you know, I believe it's next Saturday. So if you are looking to fill your bags at potentially a discount, that might be a good day to do it. If the private sale investors are smart, they might not dump, realizing that it's very lucrative to be participating in these IDOs. So we will see if we end up having a dump or not. But if we do, let's welcome it, and let's give everyone an opportunity to buy in at cheaper than what it has been recently. Anastasia, that's basically, you know, what I've been talking about. Sir, is Paid's BitClout creator coin going to have any future use? I cannot confirm or deny at this point, and we haven't really talked about it in depth. But you know, like I made a video about BitClout, and it was something that I believe is going to be really, really huge. And, you know, and a lot of people that I know are getting their Twitter accounts banned, and that's a shame. You know, it's a shame. It shouldn't be happening, and it's really, really, really bad. You know, some of these guys who, you know, their job is basically marketing, and they go in and, you know, create these Twitter accounts and build their following up to, you know, 30, 40, 100, 200,000 people, and then for basically no reason at all, Twitter comes and just goes, good night, no warning. And that's the people, this is these guys' livelihood, you know, and it just gets wiped out with no warning. And you know, it's a shame that Twitter's doing it, but it's very good for potential BitClout adoption. It's exactly what we need. We need a censorship resistant social media, and that's exactly what BitClout is. And with that being said, we just want to make sure we want to see a little bit more comfort out of BitClout, even though I am personally confident in the legitimacy of BitClout, even though I think it's legitimate. Right now, there are no off-ramps, and that makes some people uncomfortable. And just in case I'm wrong, the last thing I would want to do is encourage you people to go and, you know, participate and get involved in the ecosystem and have something go wrong. You know, I just don't want to do that. So, so there's not an easy answer, but I guess the answer is yes. I would love to do that so long as I feel comfortable setting that up. Sven, it seems that Alpha has an anonymous team at the moment. Why did you accept the project with an anonymous team? And will there be more ideas with anonymous teams? Sven, the team is not anonymous. I know the founder very well. And he plans on becoming public soon. The reason why he's not public right now is because of some type of banking licensing thing or something like that. I don't know, but I do know that I've worked with this guy on, I've seen him build things in the past. I've seen him deliver on really high quality products. And of course, that was the first question I asked, you know, when doing my due diligence. Even though I knew him, I said, are you going to make your team transparent? And he told me why he couldn't. And that was good enough for me. But rest assured, you know, we as a platform have done our KYB, which is know your business, making sure that we got all those documents. He did his KYC, that we know who he is. And, you know, if we can't do this on a project, you know, if a team is anonymous and we don't know who to point our finger at if something should go wrong, we won't launch them on Ignition. And so the answer is no. Well, maybe. For example, Raise Network, right? Raise Network, Master Ventures invested into. I spoke to the team several times. They did not want to reveal their identity to me. They were not willing to do KYB. And I didn't want to launch them on Ignition, even though I felt comfortable enough to make a sizable investment into the project. That's my own personal risk, you know, and that's my own personal judgment call. But when it comes to putting other people at risk, I didn't want to do that. So just know that we do have protocols in place to make sure that we do know who is responsible, you know, and who is behind, if there is a curtain, who is behind the curtain when you're basically buying tokens from them on an IDO. Chris, Kyle, would you be restructuring your Ignition platform like others so that everybody could get a guaranteed allocation? I can tell you that Ignition will not be doing this. Ignition won't. But if there was a project that we decided to launch that was kind of like the Kusama version of Ignition, that project might be doing this. Might be. Maybe. It would be a good idea if they did, though, huh? because basically then you would have both angles covered, right? You would, you know, the model behind Ignition is really, really good for basically getting people who realize the value to remove a lot of tokens from circulation, right? Whales go in there and they realize like I can hold a ton of paid tokens. People are winning IDOs, they're selling their tokens, they're buying more paid, and that takes a lot of paid out of circulation, which if you're a paid token holder, that's good for you, right? Simple economics says supply and demand. Demand goes up, supply gets reduced, and price goes up. But it does, you know, being a, you know, blockchain maximalist and, you know, really loving the idea of blockchain for what it potentially can do for everybody, not just wealthy people. It would be really nice if there was another alternative under our umbrella that did give everybody an opportunity to participate. And we're very aware of that. And it's something that would be great if we did do. Best of both worlds. Hey, Harvey, have you thought about splitting paid into 2 tokens, paid for smart contract legal stuff, and then L paid for Launchpad? No, and I'll tell you why. Really, you know, Ignition isn't even really a paid project. You know what I mean? It's a Master Ventures production. And House of DAO, which if you've been watching this, definitely is not a paid production. It's a Master Ventures production. But what we want to do, you know, why it's not a good idea to split up tokens or create new tokens for new projects. Look at, you know, imagine if CZ and Binance created a new token every time they wanted to do something different. They wanted to start doing their Launchpad thing, so they required a new token for that. And then they wanted to do BSC, and so they made a new token for that. And then they did this and made a new token for that. That basically just has one entity or one team that is basically making a bunch of different tokens for a bunch of different things, which makes it, you know, which makes the demand very diluted. What Binance has done is they created a BNB token, and that was used initially for a stupid use case, discount on trading fees. Whoopee, right? Pointless. But then CZ had this idea to like give you access to lottery launchpad projects. And then they started introducing borrowing and lending, and they started doing this and that and staking and this and validating and BSC and leverage trade. A lot of different things were introduced into the Binance ecosystem that require people to hold BNB to give them access to these things. And that just creates more and more and more demand for the same token. So you can kind of think of, in the same analogy of Master Ventures in a way, kind of like the Binance overseeing everything, and then Binance has their Launchpad, right? But they don't have a different token for it, you know. And Binance has their own smart chain, but they don't have a different token for it. And so our goal is to continue to create different utility and use cases for the same token. That way paid becomes, you know, one of the most used and in-demand tokens in the entire world, because there's so much utility for it across so many different reasons. So Harvey, that is why we choose to focus on just keeping as much utility for paid as possible. Hey, Paul, Blockbank isn't getting any coverage from top YouTubers. Do I know why? Yeah, because Blockbank didn't do a big influencer campaign, and it's something that I should probably talk to them about, and I think that they would like to. The thing about Blockbank is Blockbank has been building for years. They have real customers and real utility. And it's actually, I mean, what I'm telling you doesn't really give a good excuse for why it's not being covered. It actually should be. You know, we had a chat with them about a month ago about picking up their marketing, and they said that they were heavily going to do that. So even though, as far as like this initial launch, I don't think that Blockbank is going to have a 50x or something like that. I think it has really good potential long-term and even medium-term, because I know that they know how important marketing is, and they've got a really good product that's easy to use that people will use, and that creates real utility and adoption. So that's basically why. Yeah. So Martin, yeah, I just kind of answered that question. If what you're suggesting regarding Kusama is that Paid has its own second coin for IDOs, I would feel disappointed. Exactly right. So I would agree with you, and that's why we're not doing that. Thoughts on Equalizer? So I like Equalizer. I mean, I like Equalizer for its novel idea, its excellent team, and the technology it's building. I personally am not a DeFi degen, so I don't see myself going out and using flash loans ever. But people do, and flash loans have been historically very difficult to actually do. You have to use this platform and that platform and blah, blah, blah. So what they're building is very useful for all the DeFi degens out there who want to take a flash loan for something and be able to. So I think it's a great product. And I think that it's, as long as DeFi, which I don't see it ever going away, I believe that it's going to have a lot of adoption. Romaine. It would be great to get allocation to a project. These are all such high quality projects. Romaine, it would be great. I hope that you do. There's no question here. I guess just a comment. So I hope you do, brother. Or sister. I don't really know. Romaine. I don't know. Sorry. What's the probability of getting whitelisted for a project with 1,000 tokens? Depends on the size of the IDO raise. So, for projects that are only raising 150K or something, it's quite low. For projects like Globe that are raising $2 million, it's quite high. That's it. I mean, it basically comes down to, how much do we have to go around? Man, my question thing just jumps around from time to time. Oh, it just jumped down huge. Okay, let's see. Chucker, Kyle's launching a Kusama IDO platform, then yeah, let us in this. But yeah, no, there was nothing, no private sale, no nothing like that. No new token, as we've discussed. Love and peace, Kyle. What's your end of year prediction for Paid? Man, you want me to go to SEC timeout? No, I cannot give you price predictions for my own project, especially. I can tell you price predictions for other people's projects, but for mine, I can't even go there at all. I think it's going to be whatever price it's going to be, and I hope you're happy with it. Chucker, very impressed with your attitude toward putting raise on. It's commendable. Most platforms wouldn't care about their community that much. Thank you. I had a call with a great project yesterday, and I liked, so there's a big difference between, like I said, what we do at Paid and Ignition is we try to make, because I advise a lot of projects and because I've been involved in token metrics and economics and investment for so long and always staying involved in the trend and have firsthand experience to launching a token, right, for paid, I can kind of give really quality feedback from a lot of different angles that projects that are just getting started for their first time and don't have this kind of experience that they may not see. And, one of the things that I like to suggest to projects these days right now is, raising less money up front because we're in a bull market, and basically proving out, some type of value, so that, that people realize that there's potential in your project. So first of all, raising less money, up front. So, there's less at stake in case the project doesn't survive, for example. And a bunch of people's money doesn't get wasted, but you keep more tokens in your treasury as a project. And if you are, proving success and delivering on milestones, and people see that, that people get more and more confident that you will be successful over some time, that means that people are going to be believing in you, maybe speculating on future value of the token, buying it up. That's going to remove supply. It's going to increase your price. And then as a team, you have treasury tokens that are used for the situation of ongoing operating expenses. So you can actually use those tokens to, have more operating capital. Anyway, that's a long, drawn out explanation of me just saying that, I had this call with this project yesterday, and I was trying to kind of, change these metrics for them. And they were telling me, like, Kyle, yesterday, we had a call with so-and-so Launchpad, and they didn't care about it. I was like, I'm sure they didn't care. And I'm sure they didn't spend an hour with you on the phone trying to improve your metrics and trying to, improve everything for you. I'm sure they were just like, yeah, fuck it, let's launch it, whatever. And they laughed and just kind of said, yeah, you're right. I spend a lot of time trying to help projects that are launching on Ignition. We don't just say, yeah, okay, sounds good, fill out this form and launch. I really try to help them as much as possible, because we are making an investment into them as well too. We have a lot of skin in the game. Ignition doesn't charge any fees like other IDO platforms. We have no fees attached. Where our upside is really aligning value by making investments into these projects, and if they succeed, then we succeed. ABL, Kyle, will the gate IO problem be fixed? I got 1,000 paid tokens. They're locked that I bought for special for your IDOs. Give us yes or no. Yep, it will. So first of all, apologize for how long this has taken. I've explained multiple times on this AMA why it's taking so long. I know, and explanation can never, get rid of frustration of not having access to what's yours. So I totally understand and feel you there. Just understand that we have not forgot about people, and our team had a call for the first time today with Gates, and we believe that we're extremely close to having resolution. And it's not simple, right? What is simple is looking at blockchain, seeing how many wallets were how many coins were in someone's wallet at the time of an attack, and airdropping new tokens to that wallet. That's simple. But when you have to go to a centralized platform where each user doesn't have a blockchain wallet, that gets very complicated. And that's what's taken a lot of time to make sure that everything is done in a fair way, right? We don't want to be careless with distribution of tokens. We don't want to give more to people than they deserve, right? That's not good for us. That's not good for you. That's not good as an operating thing, right? People, businesses don't go around donating or just giving away money to people that's been customers before, if they don't, deserve it. So we're trying to do everything as responsibly as possible, both from our perspective, and also making sure that everyone is taken care of. So it will happen. I don't have an exact date, but I think within the next week or so. And trust me, I can't wait to stop getting comments on my videos and on my Twitter about when gate tokens, and guys, it doesn't help. We have not forgot. Trust me, we will not forget. I do understand the frustration. I do feel you. I do empathize for you. But the comments are unnecessary. Unnecessary. Working on it. I feel you. We're working on it. Oh, thanks, man. Johannes. Yeah, smash up the likes, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Dan run. You know what I'm talking about, baby. You like that Kusama idea, don't you? Don't you? All right, Gianfranco, good to see you here again, buddy. You're always here. Always here. Appreciate it. Couple questions. When will we get the 10% bonus? Any update on the chain of HODL and long-term staking? What about multiplier of the lottery? Is it in place? So the 10% bonus, the Lucky 7 bonus, first of all, thank you for everyone who participated and shows amazing commitment. And just you're stoked to get more paid tokens airdrop to you for just hodling. And that's amazing. So I believe... I think it's next week sometime. I don't remember the exact date. You know, my team's working on it. I know that it's been talked about in the office very recently. So I think that's going to happen next week. So merry early Christmas to all you guys who are getting some free paid tokens. That's great. Update on the chain of HODL. So the chain of HODL is one of the features that's being built into the automation of the whole backend of the paid platform and the user dashboard. So that's still in place right now, by the way. It's already been active. And the multiplier. So the multiplier, I don't think that we will have it in place. This is for anyone who isn't familiar with what that means. The idea we had for the multiplier was if you didn't win an IDO, you'd get more lottery tickets every single time until you finally did. I believe that this thing I've been talking about all night that I can't announce yet will definitely resolve any type of issue with everybody, with anybody not winning IDO access. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Man, I swear these questions, they just bounce up and down. It's got its mind of its own here. While I'm looking through, I saw some things about Binance earlier. So, well, yeah, I mean, I guess I can't even, let's just say that like, there's not, unfortunately, not so many updates right now. Supposed to be speaking to the listing team, but that keeps getting delayed. But I mean, that, and trust me, like we're still good there. And that announcement, the Binance investment, was actually really great. A lot of other great exchanges came and approached us after that as well. One of the bigger ones in the States and a couple more in Asia. And so these are all kind of being negotiated as we speak. Nothing is quick in this space. But that's also one of the, like, also really excited for Pokedex and the BEP20 version of paid, because you know, if you have a really awesome DEX with low trading fees, you know, you don't really have such a need for centralized exchange. So really excited for Pokedex and PancakeSwap. And there's a lot of other awesome DEXs being built right now. Second layer Ethereum solutions, Solana, this, that, everything else. And I really think that, like, you know, in 1 or 2 years, centralized exchanges just will be much harder for them to survive, because there just won't be a need for them anymore. If you can trade full feature set where you own your private keys and projects don't have to pay an arm and a leg to list there, you know, what's the point of the centralized exchange, you know? And that's going to be a huge game changer. And that's exactly the direction that we're going for in crypto in general. It's like, it takes time, right? I got on there was a centralized, decentralized exchange a long time ago called like something Bridge. I forget what it was called, but that was a long time ago. And man, was that clunky and slow and brutal. And we've come a long way since then. And that's the whole thing about crypto and development. Technology evolves, user experience evolves. And before you know it, it's super simple, super easy, and just as good, or actually better than the centralized version of it. So Let's see. Would it be safe to say Ignition is more of a proof of concept of how pay token could work, just as a starting point, more utility will be unveiled? No, so it's not really a proof of concept. Like Ignition is a very full-fledged utility for the paid token. It is one utility, absolutely. The paid DApp, that will be on Polkadot substrate, and that will be used for business agreements, is another use case. And House of DAO, being able to come and stay in Blockchain Village here in Thailand and other locations when they're built, that's another use case. And we will think of more use cases as well as time goes on. I love thinking about these things, all kinds of really cool things that you can, add value to the world and that require, more utility of the token. Sven, Kyle, I've been thinking about House of DAO. What if you locate them all near the sea so you can hire or buy a huge cruise ship, make it possible to stake paid and visit all the houses? Yeah, so if you guys know Jessica, that was actually something that we were talking about the other weekend, and when we were hanging out, and that was actually exactly her idea. And so that, and they don't necessarily all have to be by the ocean, but the ones that will be, and we love being by the ocean. Yeah, exactly. And exactly. And it just, there's another, I think there's a cruise ship called the World or something like that, that people have, like, I think it's for really wealthy people or something. And they all have like their own really like luxurious like rooms or condos or whatever in this cruise ship. And they all fly their like helicopters or whatever in and off of this thing, and it just cruises around the world the whole time. And then there is some type of also like student university cruise ship that cruises around the world, and like, yeah, that would just be awesome. And it could pop, and the House of DAO ship could pop around different ports and things like that, and make its way ultimately from one destination to the next. And then eventually, of course, once when SpaceX, starts having their rockets be transferable, so we could just take off from House of DAO Thailand and land in House of DAO Medellin, Colombia, in like 45 minutes, and that'd be sweet, right? So you can go the slow cruising way, which is relaxing and sightseeing, and or you could just hop in a rocket and get over there quite quickly. All right, guys, almost out of time. What do I think about ETH 2.0? Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? And I know the full ETH 2.0 won't happen for with sharding and all that stuff won't happen for a couple of years, probably at least. But hopefully, we get some type of relief in the gas fees with optimism, and that would be amazing if that happens quite soon. Kyle, why is paid drop for the 344? If you haven't noticed, the entire market has dropped, 25-30%, especially altcoins, especially. So you can't really just kind of point out one coin when it's a collective kind of thing. All right, guys, I almost let's see. Okay. Yeah, Sven, you're in, brother. You're in. I mean, it's all gonna be everything that we're doing. It's all gonna be sick. It's all gonna be sick. I mean, like the whole idea of like blockchain village is amazing. It's like, how cool is that? I see how excited people get because they're passionate about this industry, passionate about crypto and blockchain, and they want to be surrounded by real people physically. We all have these crazy crypto communities, these Telegram groups and Twitter and Reddit, and people love to be in there. And whether they're like trolling or adding value or just collaborating, they love it. But there's something so much different about physically being around people that you have that same energy and values and things like that with. So, House of DAO is something that is totally unique. And on that note too, just tell you one thing before I go. So I had some guy, his name is Max. He just messaged me like 3 weeks ago or something like that. Like as I was going to bed, he's like, check out this project. And I was like, what is this? And it's called Cryptoland. And the site has a password on it. And I watched this short film that they made. It's an animated one, like you'd see on Disney Pixar or something. And it just blew my mind. So Max and his lady have been working on basically something similar to what Jessica and I have been working on. And it was like, at first we watched the video and we're like, man, these guys are like stole our idea. And then they were like, and then when I talked to Max, he's like, man, we watched what you guys are doing. You like stole our idea. And then we're both like, well, hey, we should be friends. So they're coming to Thailand, and we couldn't be more excited to meet them and be working on things together. Their idea is a little bit different than ours, but very, very similar at the same time. And so it'll be really cool to see how these kind of ideas come together, and really excited to share them with you as they develop. Okay, that's it for now, everybody. Thank you so much. I will catch you next time.